The Actual Storytelling Circle. He's, in case you think, oh my goodness, he's a Buddhist monk. No, he's a yogi monk. And Donna, where are you from originally?
Born in Philadelphia.
So see, it can happen to anybody. But Donna was just so gracious to be here. Now, here's another thing that you folks, but first, Joe, Jeff, Bob, come on up here. Jeff just said it looks like a firing squad. Folks, I'm so honored to have you four next to me. You guys were just tremendous. Let's hear an applause for these folks.
Oh, you were too. You rocked it. Wow. Thank you.
Thank you all.
We
Thank you
really
all. I have
appreciate it.
one request, and it's your decision. Do you want to get out of school early, which means now? Or would you like to hear one or two more stories from either Donna or me? And I would think,
Dada.
Really?
Dada.
you hear that? By popular request, well, sit down. I'm going to do mine anyway, and then you can do yours. This story is actually my very favorite one. And it's one when I teach these classes, I teach them here at OLLI and at the Weaverville Community Center. And I've just been told to put this on. Excuse me. Cindy, can you help?
How does it go?
You're going to hear a lot about Cindy, too. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks, Paul. In 1979, I fell in love with two women. One I married, and the other one coldly dumped me in the Atlantic. It was January of 1979. We were in Cincinnati, my hometown, and a buddy of mine and I went to the University of Cincinnati Bearcats basketball game. Former national champions, but this year they just so sucked. They were terrible. So we left early and decided, I said, hey, there's a really cool bar in Mount Adams called the Blind Lemon. So we went to the Blind Lemon. Now the Blind Lemon is in Mount Adams, which is a really hip part of town. It's next to downtown. It's so hip, I even lived there. Till they threw me out. Anyway, so this place, the Blind Lemon, is above a restaurant, and you have to go around the back, and it's like in the basement of the restaurant. So Gary and I come in, we look around, it's smoke-filled. There's the din of music. And the music, by the way, is piped in like Mazak or something. But it's this really hip bar. We look around, there's no place to sit, but there's two seats. And Gary is a lot taller and bigger than I am, but then again, everybody is. I'm 6'5" and dyslexic, all right? I'm 5'6". So we sit down, and Gary sits next to the taller woman. I sit next to this cute little short woman, and I was never a pickup artist. I was more like a pickup finger painter. I wasn't very good, but this was my typical line. Hi, I'm Chuck Fink. Who are you? I'm Cindy Berryman. Well, that's interesting. What do you do for a living? Oh, first, what do you do for a living? I'm a professor at the University of Cincinnati. Cool, I was a college dropout at the time. I said, where are you from? And this was it. I'm from Westport, Massachusetts, by the way of Fall River. Fall River, Massachusetts. I was able to go back to when I was 13. I was told by the best reviewers ever, my parents, that I did a great Kennedy impression. So here I go. On behalf of the people of Cincinnati, I want to welcome you to this bar. She was so unimpressed. But she not only gave me her phone number, she wrote it down on a bank deposit slip. I knew I was in love. And then we fanned the flames of our romance. And 9 months later, no, I think it was October, we had to drive up to beautiful Westport, Massachusetts to meet Cindy's mother, Gertie. Westport, Massachusetts is like no other place in this country. Yankee Magazine listed it as the most undiscovered place in all of New England. Westport, Massachusetts, 17 miles of beach, 17 miles. Its two industries are lobster fishing, and dairy farming. The best part of Westport is you go down Main Road on the way to the town Pier, or for those of us that speak normally, town pier, you'll pass by houses on either side, and they all have historical markers. Benjamin Franklin Davis, distiller, 1777. I mean, what the hey? How can you have a revolution without any good booze? Benjamin Franklin Davis. Over here, John and Mary Ann Allen, Minuteman, 1778. That's Westport. And still, when we go back, it's a little aside, I love going back to Westport. It's home. But there's more to this story, and you'll hear why. We pull into 428 Sanford Road, Cindy's house, and out pops, looking kind of like Granny Clampett, with the white hair, was Gertie. And Gertie, very atypically of a New Englander, they're very stoical. She runs out and grabs us and just hugs us and say, "Come on in." If I answered her first question incorrectly, I would not be here tonight, and Cindy would not be down there smiling, because the question was from Gertie in that great New England accent. Oops. "You want a beer?" Let me translate that. "You want a beer?" And if I said no, I'm out of there. So I said, "Sure." And we had her favorite red, white, and blue. Gertie, I found out, loved practical jokes. So I said, "Hey, Gertie, I just heard that they're going to build a McDonald's down by the town pier. You all may say, so what? Westport, to this day, has no restaurants other than a couple family-owned restaurants. They don't like tourists. There are no fast food restaurants. There's no hotels. It's just a wonderful piece of Americana. Asheville, are you listening? No hotels. They don't like tourists. Just saying." But it's this beautiful place. I tell her, I say, "Hey, Gertie, you like practical?" I knew she liked practical jokes. "I understand they're building a McDonald's down by the town pier." In her own inimitable way, she said, "Yeah, hope they don't own the sunbathing down there." I looked at her living room. It was so special. It had old wallpaper, and there were only two pictures, one on this side, one on this side. The picture on this side, Pope John the 23rd. Oh, by the way, these were not framed. These were cut out of a magazine and just pinned up on the wall. You look over to the other side, and it's the Pope of Massachusetts, John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Well, we had a great time, and then 1 year later, Cindy and I left, but 1 year later, we were back, but this time to be married. The night before was the rehearsal dinner. My father, who was a 33rd degree Mason and loved public speaking, "I want to welcome all of you to the wedding of Cindy Berryman and my son, Fred Fink." Dad, my name's Chuck." Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Anyway, it was that kind of event. And the next day was the wedding at the Old Stone Bridge Inn in Tiverton, Rhode Island. Let me change that. It's Tiverton, Rhode Island. And Westport is so cool because it's on the Rhode Island border. And literally, sometimes you have to go in Massachusetts to go to Rhode Island. It's just so cool. We go back, and we're at the old Stonebridge Inn, which had been on the National Historic Registry, but now it's like a medical complex. That day, now I have to tell you, Cindy's father, Elmer, had passed away when she was 15. And there was only one person that was going to walk Cindy Berryman, soon to be Berryman Fink, down that aisle, and it was Gertie. And if you want to come to our place, you'll still see the picture. They weren't walking down the aisle. They were skipping, and they were telling jokes to each other, smiling. It was pure Berryman. But that night, oh, that night, Gertie was having the time of her life at our dinner. She was dancing with the officiant, who, by the way, if you know anything about legal history, was the judge in the Klaus von Bülow murder trials. How many know Klaus von Bülow? Okay. Make it up and just raise your hand. All right. It's a very, thank you, Laura. It's a very big trial. He was a multi-wealthy person. His wife was even wealthier. He killed her for the money. And he eventually got out. But anyway, back to the story. That was the judge. Gertie was dancing with him. She was dancing with me. She was dancing with everybody. She was dancing with her grandchildren. And we all knew how special this was because we knew that Gertie had stage 5 colorectal cancer with just but a few months to live. We went off on our honeymoon to Maine. We came back. This is maybe about a month after we had been married. Cindy gets a call from her uncle, Uncle Nick. And he, by the way, Cindy called every day. This time Nick called and told her that Gertie is not in good shape. And Cindy got off the phone bursting in tears. Cindy is a stoical New Englander. Tears do not come easy to New Englanders. Cindy was crying her eyes out. I just grabbed her and hugged her and said, "Baby doll," I still call her baby doll. "Baby doll, Gertie is coming to live with us. The truth was Gertie was coming to die with us. And we have never learned so much about living and dying than we did in those 4 months. Cindy had the toughest job. She had to take care of her incredible physical needs with colorectal cancer. I was Gertie's drinking buddy. We would have beers together and chit-chat. And she seemed to be okay, but then after late December, she took a turn for the worse. That spirit, though, was always there. A couple of nights before she passed, we told her she was in great pain. "Gertie, there's morphine on your nightstand. Please take some, relieve the pain." I don't want to become a drug addict. It was on Valentine's Day in 1981 that I went upstairs. Actually, that night, before going to bed, she said to me, I want a beer. To translate that, I want a beer. But she could hardly speak. I knew she couldn't drink out of a bottle, a can, a straw, anything. And it hit me. I ran to the bathroom. I pulled it out. I got it. I got that eyedropper. I went to a can of beer and lovingly placed it around her lips. And that was Gertie's last beer. The next morning, February the 15th, at 2 a.m., I went upstairs and found her, and she had passed away. I didn't have such a great relationship with my own mother. In just a very brief time, maybe a year and a half, Gertie became that mother figure that I never knew. She was so sweet. She wanted to be cremated, and have her ashes spread at her favorite beach in Westport. We wanted to follow through. It was only Cindy, her sister Pauline. Oh, let's go, let's get back out of here. And there was Uncle Nick. We realized Uncle Nick was in the Irish Mafia. First of all, Cindy always came home with these special glasses and cookware that she used for her apartments, and they came from Uncle Nick, who had a gas station, and all that stuff came off of heisted trucks. But we really knew Uncle Nick was in the Mafia because he would say stuff like, hey, you see that guy over there? Yeah, his buddy pulled a 7. Nick, what's a 7? Well, you know, when you're dead and you're lying out there, your legs are down here, your arms out there, you look like a 7. Irish Mafia. And there was Gertie's friend, Cindy and me. And because I guess I was a young guy, they asked me to spread the ashes in the Atlantic. And I've never been so honored. I walked out to that jetty. It's March. It is really freezing out there. And I held those cremains and I kissed them. And as I lay down to place them in the cold Atlantic, a huge wave came over and knocked me into the water. Everybody is so saying, oh my God, he's going to catch a death of cold. We've got to get him back. It's terrible. I come laughing my butt off because Gertie got the last laugh on me. Thank you. Can you do it with I? Well, thank you very much, folks.